I'm back in the beautiful inlet of Seashells, doing another roadshow today. I needed to go and have some alone time, a little isolation in the cabin. Hopefully you're all doing that too. Hopefully you're filling your own cups. It's important. I'm excited. I've got a really super incredibly knowledgeable guest on today. Without further ado, let's bring her in here and I'll stop my rambling. Kelley Johnson, how are you doing today?
I'm incredible, Mark. I loved the intro, and mentioning the seashells kind of made me want to go to the beach this weekend. But I
Yeah.
don't have a beach near me, so I'm just going to live vicariously through you.
Yeah, you can pretend, right? No, I completely butchered that intro, but that's okay. That's okay. I do every time. The important
I love
part
it.
is usually my guests bail me out. So I'm counting on you today, Kelley,
All right,
to
let's do
really
this.
to move this thing forward. So a little bit about you. Let's hear about you, your history in the industry. Take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. So happy to be with everyone today, and super excited to dive into some dental stuff today. I'm definitely a self-founded dental nerd in the dental industry. So long background in the dental industry, sparring all the way back to roughly around 2005. I have a start that's really similar to a lot of people. It's just where I took it is what is a little bit unique. So started out at the front desk of a dental office. Trying to find my way through EagleSoft without formal training. It was kind of a trial by fire experience where you click till you get where you need to get, and that's how you learn, or you're peeking over the shoulder of someone near you, and that's how you learn. So did that for a while and really um, adapted well to the technology in the dental office. I'm fascinated with how it can alter the patient experience. So I became addicted, if you will, to improving those processes and just kind of changing the outcome from start to finish for that experience. So continued to working on collections, treatment plans, the standard fare. And then one of the doctors I worked for and supported bought a second location and asked me to come over and be his office manager. So I jumped wholeheartedly into that opportunity, Mark. And I said, hey, you know what? This is a chance for me to really directly affect that patient experience, because that's at the forefront of everything we do, is getting those people in the door and getting them out the door where they're going to have a really great experience and get what they needed, get what they came for. So it gave me an opportunity to dip into some of the back office things, like charting perio for my hygienist when we were short staffed, which was always. I even helped install a pan machine or the flooring that needed to go in before the pan. So I got very hands on with ordering, putting in budgets, hiring, firing, just everything regarding the operation of a dental clinic. And I fell in love with all of it. That then led me to start my own consulting business, because I wanted the freedom to do EagleSoft, but I also wanted the freedom to touch maybe into some of the other technologies in the space as well. So I did that for a while. That led me directly to a technology advisor role at Patterson Dental, that I was in for just under about 7 years before coming to CareCru. So that role gave me the opportunity to work with clinics pretty much top to bottom on their tech stack, their SOPs, their protocol, really engaging people in the workflows per se, solving problems, just everything under the sun that you could imagine. After I'd kind of exhausted my territory, if you will, and felt that I'd really achieved what I set out to achieve, I then looked to get into the third party space, which is what brought me to CareCru, where I'm at today. So today, Mark, I'm the VP of Practice Development here at CareCru, and I take the opportunity and privilege very seriously in the fact that we're changing lives here. We have a unique solution and we have unique things that we bring to the table here. So again, I'm just trying to figure, hey, I've got the full circle of practice management software. Now let's dip into the third party. Let's tie all of that together, which is what brought me to getting to be at CareCru. So that's my story.
That's a great story. And it really gives you have the feather in your cap of actually having firsthand experience in the practice, which is paramount, I think, to, really talking about what solutions are needed and what the needs are in the practice. And there's the whole trust thing, right? You know what you're talking about. You've been there. You've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting you say that, Mark, because I'm a big believer that you don't have to work in a dental practice to be valuable in the dental business,
It does help. It does help.
but it certainly helps. It certainly
Yeah.
helps, and it gives you just a little bit of a different approach to kind of what you're going to do and what you're going to lay out for people. So I do think that it definitely helps bring that special sauce to the table.
I like it. Yeah, you need that special, like whatever your special sauce is. Everybody needs their special sauces. So, what did you see like what and the on the front line? Like, what were your sort of aha? If like everybody has their place and purpose in this industry. Where did you see yourself fit in on the dental team? Like, what value did you provide, and something that you're very proud about? Oh, you're frozen. Oh, I think I can hear you. Did you hear my question?
No, I didn't. It kind of froze up for a second there,
Yeah,
Mark.
you.
Did it
Yeah,
freeze for you too?
yeah. That's okay. I'll just clip that after. So what I asked was, your experience in
Okay.
the practice. What what were you passionate about? Like, what value did you bring? Like, what was your piece to the puzzle?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest piece of the puzzle for me and what I brought to every clinic I worked with was helping them see another way to do things. So I was able to influence those that maybe are the decision makers. I was able to influence those that are not the decision maker. And what I was essentially able to do is say, let's not make assumptions about this, that, or the other thing. Let's sit down and actually look at what you're trying to achieve here. And I was very famous, Mark, when I would go and consult a practice or teach them software. They would, people would ask me, hey, can you turn on this alert? Or hey, can you turn on this reminder? Or hey, can you help me build a treatment plan with 15 phases? Certainly, I knew how to do that in the computer, right? Certainly. But I chose not to. Instead of, saying, yeah, click here or yeah, click there, what I did instead is I said, well, let's take a step back for a second. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to create a treatment plan with 15 phases? Do you think that'll be successful with your patients? Why do you want to have this alert turned on? So I always tried to get them to really think about what they were doing. And 9 times out of 10, they would say, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I was told to do this.
Yeah.
And so then I would create a safe space for them to pause, think about it, and then I was like, if you still want me to show you that now, I will. But now what do you think? And they're like, no, I don't want to do it like that. Don't show me that. I don't want to do it
Yeah.
like that. So I was really the one that kind of challenged the status quo. And I didn't do something because it was in a Word document. I did something if it made sense for the outcome of the patient and the
Mm-hmm.
practice. And I really encouraged people to do the same. So they grew. They grew and opened their eyes just by being in the room with me because I challenged their questions, and I didn't just reach over them and click on the keyboard and get them there in the computer. I challenged their approach.
Yeah, purpose is everything, I think, right? Like what it was
Mhm.
what's the outcome of this whatever it is, like a system or like that's super important, and to establish those foundations is pretty critical to success. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, what challenges that did you sort of see being in that space, like firsthand? Like, what were the top three things that these practices faced?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the top one in the last 2 years has been a staff shortage,
Mm-hmm.
not having resources, not having enough bodies in the room to do the workload, not having the right bodies with the right skill sets and the right intention in the room. And when you are short human capital, or you are short any level of resource inside the practice, it really does make working inside that clinic very, very difficult, very, very challenging, because people are not born knowing how to pivot in the dental space. There's no college for that. Mm-hmm. So it's really, what have you learned and what experience can you draw on? And if you don't have individuals on your business and clinical team alike that can really pull that off, it's just a heavy load for people. So that would be the first. The second would be noise. There wasn't a clinic that I've ever been in, ever, with any DPMS, any third-party software, it doesn't matter what they're using. There's so much noise, so much distraction, so much to think about, and they're misguided, or they're uninformed, or their practice isn't communicating very well. And they struggle because who do you listen to? Do you listen to what was said in huddle? Do you listen to what the patient said to you on the phone? Do you listen to what was typed to you in chat? There's so many bullets flying at you all day long, unplanned, that it's really, really hard to reduce that noise. And then the third thing, and these are all big things, the third thing would be access to information and knowing how to take action on it. So Mark, one of the things that I definitely saw on that third point, when we talk about accessing information in any business, whether it's your business there with DOD, or whether it's my business at CareCru, or these dental clinics, right? Finding information is one thing, but then doing something with it is completely different. And sometimes it's what? You don't have to do anything with it. That's kind of one of the things too, is it's like, hey, this number might be perfectly normal for where you're at today. You shouldn't yearn for more. So leave it alone. Go to this one. Well, by the time they think about it and figure out, oh, this one's fine, I'll go to this one, it's 5:00. And then they go home and they forget about it. The next day, they don't carry any continuity of that conversation forward, and they're off on another problem, and nothing ever actually gets followed through on. So the noise, not having the right staff, and then accessing information and actioning on it are definitely problems today.
Mm-hmm. What steps could, in your opinion, what steps could these practices put in place to sort of keep things moving forward, keep the ball rolling, keep the needle moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first thing that it comes down to is having really good alignment and communication in the team, and a very good understanding of the foundation of where you are and where you need to be. Don't look back, look now, look forward. And once everybody can communicate and agree on, hey, this is what we want fundamentally as a team to achieve, then you put the blocks in place to achieve that. And you stick with those things. You don't abandon them 2 days later because it gets hard, or it gets confusing, or there's noise. You fight through that. And when you come on the other side of some of that work, you'll realize that, hey, my company, my dentist, my dental office, and they are companies, are better off because we took the time to dedicate ourselves to each other as a team, communicate, and really understand fundamentally what we want. Do we want to go to CE events every year? If no, why are we wasting our time talking about it? Do we want to put in a payment plan? If no, why are we wasting time trying to find one? Like, you'll find in a practice that people tend to be very scattered. One will think one thing and start Googling it and go that direction. And then someone else will think, hey, I have a unique idea. I know how we can differentiate. I'll click on this and go that way and not tell anybody. So everybody ends up being on completely different compartments internally, and you really just implode at that point.
Yeah, like just kind of going with the ebb and flows, and there's no sort of like systems in place, I guess, right? Like, is this like regular team meetings? Like, how do we solve like staying on the same page? Is it leadership?
Yeah,
is it leadership?
I think it comes down to leadership, and then just having opportunities and creating opportunities, making opportunities to sit down and talk about some of these things as a team. And I'm a big believer. When I ran my clinic, I was a big believer, and still am, that you really include everybody. It isn't just for the dentist owner. It isn't just for the office manager. I think everybody's a team in there. And the high functioning practices that we'll see in the space, again, on any technology, you're going to find that those guys are really, really dialed in. Everybody's included. Nobody's left out. Nobody feels like an afterthought. Those are the practices that are high performing, and the numbers are directly related to that. You'll see them making a profit. You'll see them enjoying their day. You'll see them open and receptive to getting a call and looking at some new technology. They'll just explore more because they feel comfortable. They feel confident in their space because they're all engaged together.
Yeah, you've kind of grazed it, but it turns into good culture, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when everybody's ideas are included and everybody feels like a part of it. It really is like it's the sour apples, you know, like it turns into the sour apple. It's kind of like a product of the environment or the variables, but it's tough. I feel for dentists out there. They're you know their best position is to be chairside and doing their work, but you know their mind has to be on so many things. So delegation, I'm sure too, like trusting your team to do the things that they need to do, but you know ensuring that you're building these systems in place that everybody's kind of on board with and can contribute to, I think is key
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, wouldn't you agree?
I think you're right, Mark. I think you have a system that can get created, but I think finding people that will contribute to it, even if they're not 100% bought into it. I
Hmm.
mean, they still do have a job to do. They still do have a dental
Yes.
practice to support, and they still do have, the dentist has expectations of every staff member, and I think those need to be factored in. So I think you're exactly right. Who
Yeah,
can
yeah.
contribute?
Yeah, and then maybe you know having the proper management leadership overseeing it, making sure everybody's you know plugged in. You know,
Yeah,
let's all plug
definitely.
in. Yeah.
No,
So from when you started to now, like let's talk software. Let's get into this. Like, what have you seen? You know, in terms of front end tools to be used, like how is that going? Like, how is that progressing? What are the challenges that you know we're facing with implementing these things and getting everybody on board? Like, where are your thoughts there?
yeah, thanks, Mark. That's a really good question. So, I mean, if we go back, even 10, 12 years, I think that was some of the early technology coming out with appointment confirmation, patient engagement tools were starting to emerge into the market. Um, People were thinking, hey, let's work harder or smarter and not harder. And I think, even everyone in the practice, all the way back to the dental assistant, um, to part timers, to temps, I think everyone was starting to get engaged in, hey, what can we install on our desktop? What app can we get? And let's run with it. And I think that we then saw an oversaturation in the marketplace, even leading up to the last 4 to 5 years. Now, if somebody wants to purchase something for patient engagement or analytics or a tool in the practice, now there's so many options to pick from. We've swung it almost from one end to the other. And currently, Mark, there's no shortage of dental shows, dental events, social media pages, how to's. There's so many different avenues to get information nowadays that it's almost worse because people get so confused on what to read. And then I'm sure they're just as guilty as I am. Like, every day I'm like on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm checking out other events that have happened, and I'm taking screenshots of things I liked. And then I'm
Mm,
saving screenshots on my phone, or I make a folder called, dental brilliance or, something. And then where am I actioning those? Where do I have time to actually go back through everything I saw on social or everything I saw at an event and actually implement it into my day to day? And then how do I know I've won by doing it? Right.
sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everyone faces the same thought process, and there's just so much in the way. And then I think with that, Mark, coupled is the fact that there's some technology that gets implemented that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, and we've all been there, right? You turn it on, you're really excited, you think it's going to solve all your problems, it's going to create all your treatment consults for you, it's going to sell dentistry, it's going to collect patient portion due at the counter, it's going to do all these things, and guess what? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then I think everyone gets really soured to like, well, then I'm not going to try anything again then because this didn't work, so I'm done. I'll just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's major pushback. Yeah. Um, and whose fault is that, Kelly? Whose fault would you say that you know the tool? Is it the tool, or is it the people, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's everything in all of it in between. Because I think sometimes the conversations that you need to have when you're implementing technology and the foresight that you have to have, and then the involvement you have to have along the way, really could have maybe created a different outcome, when we think about technology. But people have to remember that these tools are invented by somebody else to solve a problem. And at CareCru, that's really what we tie it to. And our approach is unique, frankly, where we are here to solve problems. And our secret sauce, if you will, is the people that stand behind the technology at CareCru. We understand this. We understand that people are in that situation. So if there's proper communication, proper setting of expectations, proper understanding of what you're doing in the first place, and then understanding how to pivot when it derails, that just we weren't good enough and we weren't ready enough as an industry for all these different solutions to come in. So everybody got what I call, when I'm training, I call it click happy. We've all got click happy where we sign up for this and we sign up for that. And again, I'm going to refer to my own cell phone. I'm the same way. I've got 17 diet apps on my phone, and I downloaded every single one of them, Mark, because I'm like, which one is going to be my saving grace? Which one, which one, actually help me lose weight or whatever I'm trying to do. But again, here I sit, problem got solved, but I've got 17 apps on my phone, right? So I didn't really understand what I was looking for when I just started clicking on things. And then sometimes you get taken down the wrong avenue and you don't know how to self-correct. So I think it's everything.
So where do we start then? Like where do we, with all this noise, is it like we got to know ourselves better? Is that kind of it? Like if we can identify what our own needs are first and establish, those voids, and then kind of put ourselves out there and figure out what tools, what things, what people will solve that. Is that an assessment? What do you think?
I do think that's a great component of it in the beginning of things, Mark. And here's why. If we don't know what we're looking for, and we don't know where our lines in the sand are, it's really hard for each of us, no matter what our roles are in the dental clinic, it's really hard for us to understand what we can tolerate, what we can live without, and what are our must-haves. And I think when we're thinking about not only the DPMS software, but also the third party that we stack on, if it can't do campaigns, or if it can't swipe a card or do Apple Pay, or if it can't, sync to my watch, or I can't sync to my, my car, can I live without that? What is the impact to the business? I think people need to dedicate enough thoughtful conversation with these technology companies in order to find that out. And for me, when I'm working with people, it's like, that's the approach. Take a look at different things, understand what you're looking for. Like you pointed out, Mark, get to know yourself a little bit better, because otherwise you're just signing up for stuff just because you think somebody thinks that they think that you should sign up for it, and it's not purposeful. It's not intentful.
I think you touched on it too. Like I find that it's like, I mean, this industry is just as guilty as anyone. Like, this doesn't just isolate itself to the dental industry. I think humans have a sense of being very like proactive, seeing something and like not like just kind of grazing over the granular details of the purpose. Everything's becoming far more complex and specialized, and like our need to understand ourselves and our systems and and everything that's around us is that much more important to know. It makes that sort of that selecting that diet app, like this is going to be the one, like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, and I think, we all had like tons of time during COVID to sort of dive into these things a little bit deeper. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. And then if you think back to that time frame, Mark, that's when a lot of people started signing up for digital forms.
Yes.
Patient in the waiting room. Oh my gosh, I need to be able to have this through a cloud-based platform because I couldn't access this from home. I couldn't get into my Dentrix or EagleSoft or Open Dental from home. Now I'm going to need this, and now I'm going to need that. But again, you can't always just stop and do an impact study every time. But you've got to dedicate at least a skosh of time to understanding what's going to happen when I just start going down these rabbit holes. You solve one problem, then you create three more. Where's your gain, as a company? And I think, another thing I always encourage offices to do when we talk about technology, Mark, and I'm sure you come across many, many people that think the same thing, but I encourage people to find their voice in the practice. Make a pitch. If you've got a good idea, make a pitch to your doctor. Hey, I saw this at a show, or my friend saw this at a show, and I've thought about it. Here's where I think it would solve this problem. We'd have to keep an eye on these three, but make your pitch to your doctor, regardless of your role in the clinic, because I think everybody can kind of find their courage point and make a difference.
Well, I think this is like why it's crucial that everybody does have a voice in the practice and everybody is listened to. When we think of, we're all working on different fronts of the practice, right? So that communication needs to sort of come into the center, and then a better, more informed decision will happen. That's kind of understanding yourself, right?
Yeah.
In a general sense, Kelley, like, what do practices need right now in terms of solutions? Like, what are like, if they don't have something in particular, what are they missing out on if they don't have these? Like, let's give me three top things that a practice really needs today.
For sure. The first would be schedule utilization tools. So I'm a big proponent of the schedule is king in the practice. A lot of people say, "Hey, Kelley, can you help me fill my schedule?" I can help you fill it and make it productive. And that's in lies the difference. Everybody can put a square inside of a DPMS software, and it looks visually like a full schedule, and you end your day and you didn't meet any of your goals. So I think any tool that's going to help you fill your schedule, people need to lean into that, especially coming into 2024. We need to, with that comes the very important topic. These tie together into one for me, Mark, where when you have a productive schedule, and that happens to be full, you also have people coming in using their benefits properly. You're going to see an office that understands how to find out what those benefits are and properly communicate that in time to each of the patients. So that all ties into having a really healthy schedule. So that's number one. Number two is going to be education on what the practice is doing and where they want to go. And any tool that provides that education gets that conversation started. And that's one of the things I love about CareCru is I think it gets the conversation started. Educate, align, communicate. That's number two. And then number three, of course, is access to data and analytics. We have to understand how we've done and know where to take action. So don't just go find any analytics software that looks like a spreadsheet. Find something that actually has workflow tied to it. Because if you have workflow tied to that, it helps you know where to take action and where your start and end points are. So those would be the three biggest.
I like that. Yeah. Like, and I always mention this too. It's, you can't manage what you don't measure. You need, like, we're living in a day and age where, we can get too granular with data, right? You don't want to spend, like, that's a rabbit hole that, you can go down if that's your thing. But at least having like a solid data set to allow you to implement informed decisions. And now we're in the day and age too where we can have the software actually act on the data as well. It's powerful stuff. And spoon feed us. Point. I want to be spoon fed, like,
yeah,
Mark,
let's be spoon fed, Mark.
Do this now. Do this now. Yeah.
This is ice cream.
I just want to eat ice cream. That's all I want to do.
I just want to eat ice cream. Yeah. Dairy Queen tonight for Kelley.
Oh, there you go. It's Friday, right? Yeah.
As I referenced the diet apps, that's a great tie-in.
There you go. Yeah. Stop the ice cream app. That's what we'll follow, right? Yeah. Don't stop the ice cream app. We're kind of sitting in a bit of a holding pattern right now, Kelley. There's like a lot of interesting things that are about to be dropped with CareCru. We're also planning on expanding on this conversation as well. We want to bring on guests and really dive into these points here. I'm pretty excited about it. So we're going to get there. We wanted to start this chat here today to just get things going. Final thoughts, Kelley. Are you excited about where things are at right now? Like where's Kelley's mind at right now? Are you tired? Do you need a vacation?
No, actually, this is the time of year, Mark, honestly, where I get the most excited because we're at the end of year, we're approaching Q4, and what that means to each and every dental office, each and every dental practice is we are now going to prepare to see how we did in 2023. We're going to be tying up our numbers. We're going to be celebrating success. We're going to be concerned about where we fell short. And then we're all going to have a lot of time off coming up here with Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to come in January. We're going to be completely renewed. And then we're going to look up in March and realize we didn't do anything. For me, this is the most opportunistic time in the business. So literally from September 1st through the end of March, as I just described, is my favorite time in the dental space because I think it's the most opportunistic to say, hey, we need to take this approach. We need to find those unique solutions that actually do stuff. We need to celebrate our team. We need to retain our people. We need to do all the things that we all hear about, but nobody's doing. And we need to connect with a partner like CareCru that can actually help us drive that into our practices and be that support mechanism when we need a little handholding, which sometimes we do. So, yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. I'm very, very excited about the next 3-4 months.
Yeah, me too. And again, stay tuned. We're about to dive into more of these variables. Gonna keep it short today, Cal. Like let's get it into Friday mode here. But definitely stay tuned. We've got big plans, don't we?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. We're going to celebrate our office managers, which, by the way, September is Office Manager Appreciation Month. So big shout out to anyone that's an office manager listening. I think it's the hardest job on the planet. So I look forward to anything, Mark, we can do to support those folks as well in that role.
Well, why don't we make it a national holiday, like a week-long holiday?
We should.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. How can we celebrate our office managers and arm them with everything they need to be successful?
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Stay tuned.
Mark.
Yeah, we'll chat soon. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.
Okay, bye.